morning, everyone. Let's try it again. Good morning, everyone. Lovely to see everyone up early in the morning. Like all our school kids, must be already there very early, nicely. I think school starts around 7:30 in the morning. So, how many of you actually know about Estonia or where Estonia is? Just a show of hands, maybe. That's great. So whatever I say today, you have to believe me then. Well, let me start. Let me start by saying that Estonia and India are both 1.3 million. Well, Estonia is 1.3 million, but India is, of course, 1.3 billion. We don't believe in the zeros because, zero is no value, right? But together, we make about 1/6 of the world's population, right? Estonia and India. The idea is that, we are very happy that, this platform has been provided by ELS, and I must certainly, recommend and thank ELS for having us here. But I'm going to share with you some things about Estonia which actually have put Estonia on a very high platform when it comes to education. And, Mr. Souvik mentioned that, Skype is being one of the main, game changers when it comes to the startup ecosystem and the kind of talent that's coming. I'm very happy to inform you all that a country with only 1.3 million people, which is so small, has now 4 unicorns. So we don't have Skype, but we also have 3 other companies called TransferWise, Taxify, and Pipedrive, which have reached the unicorn status. And I was just Googling earlier today that India, being 1.3 billion people, has about 10 unicorns at the moment. So I think, with a very small but very effective way, Estonia is trying to put its IT talent and its companies at the high level. And that is only possible because of the quality of education that's available. Now, my question is that how did Estonians get so smart, right? How did these people, and why am I here, not even being from Estonia, I'm here talking about the education system. So in order to help you explain how Estonian people got so smart, I think we'll have a short video to just share with you what Estonia is all about and what the education system is all about. So this is something for you to kind of grasp initially. If you can have the video, please.
This video is about the Estonian education system, which is among the best in the world. Estonians themselves rank as one of the worst in the world in boasting, so the commentary will be provided by a silent Estonian and a more talkative narrator. Here's how Estonian 15-year-olds fared against their European counterparts, according to the latest PISA survey. First in science. A close second in maths. Third in functional reading. These results also placed Estonia in the top 10 compared to pupils from the rest of the world, ranking the Estonian basic education system #1 in Europe and in 3rd place globally. If you also consider that Estonia consistently ranks amongst the top 10 countries in learning English as a foreign language, you can see why our education system is the perfect pedigree for those who want to take on the world. Just look at these facts. How could you ignore these facts? But let's look at this in more detail. One possible reason why Estonians do so well in the education rankings could be that one of the first things they have to learn is the Estonian language. After mastering this mysterious vowel-abundant code with its 14 productive cases before the age of 7, elementary school seems relatively easy. From an early age, the Estonian school system offers a safe and positive learning environment, encouraging both creativity and logical thinking. The aim is also for efficiency, as Estonian students have one of the shortest school years and one of the longest school holidays of all the OECD countries. Measures such as free school lunches, additional funding for rural schools and special needs students guarantee that kids can focus on learning regardless of their socio-economic background. A strong foundation for further studies is also built by offering students a wide selection of different subjects. With strong English skills being the tip of the iceberg, in high school it's common to learn 3 or more foreign languages. None of this, of course, would be possible without inspirational teachers. Estonian teachers are true professionals and have the luxury of having relatively free hands when choosing the best way to pass on their knowledge to the kids. The national curriculum only sets general goals and deadlines. The way teachers help their students to reach these goals, however, is entirely up to them. But let's move on. One choice available for anyone who has finished 9 years of basic education in Estonia is vocational education. This is an accessible option, as each Estonian county has at least one vocational education institution, so anyone can follow their dreams, regardless of which corner of the country they're from. Last but not least, we come to the noble academia. Higher education in Estonia is free of charge for those studying full-time in the Estonian language. There are also over 150 study programs available in English, both offering access to international education for Estonians, as well as bringing in foreign students with fresh ideas. Many teenagers may find this hard to believe, but life doesn't in fact peak at high school. The Estonian education system is also a firm advocate of lifelong learning. The percentage of people involved in further education in Estonia is above the EU average. This is thanks to a state-funded system which supports distance learning, evening courses, and external studies. As you may have noticed, Estonians aren't always the most vocal when it comes to expressing themselves. But when it comes to our education system, the silence only proves that we are quietly proud of how far we've come. And we promise we will continue our work quietly, so we can be even prouder in the future. Thanks for watching, and see you at school.
So that, as you can see, was the way we've been doing things so far. And today, when we have such a lovely and august audience, with schools and different partners in the education system, as well as people, stakeholders from the governments, I think it's very important that, what can we really take home, right? We've all taken out our valuable time and being here. So I would actually like to start talking about a very important learning system that was developed, of course, initially for only Estonian schools and had been implemented in as early as 2002. So we've been doing this for quite a while, as you can see, and with almost 2 decades now, we have been able to evolve these systems to a certain degree and been able to kind of work with other partners around the world. So as Mr. Andreas says that, your education is, the education today is your economy tomorrow, and that's been proven with the startups that we've been seeing from Estonia as well. So as I mentioned, 2012, this learning management system was implemented. It's a state-sponsored learning system, which was initially developed by the private company. So it's called eCool, and it actually means school. And the idea is that, how can they help the teachers? How can they improve the communication between the schools and the parents? Support, early, areas areas where you know, work needs to be done. And also, like, you know, all this has actually led to the PISA rankings that you saw. So, you know, globally, you know, as everybody knows, PISA is one of the most respected rankings in math as well as in science skills, and in Estonia has managed to do #1 this year, so this speaks for itself. And these are the breakdowns in terms of the rankings. You can see in terms of math, natural sciences, and reading. And you know, you can see that this focus on the impact is being from K to 12 schools. So primary education is the key you know, driver. You can see that, you know, all partners, starting with students, parents, teachers, schools, education authorities, all of them have to be put on one platform. The exchange has to be, you know, very, very transparent and also seamless. And the best part is that, you know, all your details, I won't go into too much because of the next slides, but the idea is that, you know, the exchange has to happen so that, you know, the parents and the students and the teachers all feel like being part of this system is actually helping them in the long run. Initially, there was, to be very honest, some resistance, but overall, they see the dividends coming now. So these are the true insights, and you can see that performance and analytics, you know, and messaging between teachers and parents, you know, information about grades and so on. It's a completely modular platform, so, you know, you can use it, you know, on the web and standalone. So I'm really trying to share that, you know, something that, you know, has been the backbone of the education system and why it is so successful. And of course, you know, it covers most of the devices that you can think about. And also, you know, I mentioned that, you know, the Estonian Ministry of Education is also tracking closely how the schools are performing, because, you know, it's very, very important to them. And there have been state-sponsored, you know, e-books. You know, there have been state-sponsored, you know, the Estonian people started using a national identification system as early as 2001. So all these data has been integrated already in a national ID. And, you know, anything happens, any emergencies, you know, SMS notifications, so on and so forth, are absolutely, you know, being done at the moment and serving almost 2.5 million active users around the world. So we don't have, like, only Estonia today, because as you can see that a lot of the companies who were driving these state-sponsored programs have actually grown. And today I'm very proud to say that, you know, the sister brands have been in already 5 countries in the world. And I would actually like to take this opportunity to say that, you know, India has, and my role here would be to get India on this map as well. So I would actually like to reach out to some of the interesting schools and education establishments from this group of people here today, in case they would be interested. You know, yes, I mentioned cutting the administrative times. You know, skipping, you know, of school is very common, even in European countries. So that's something that's significantly gone down. And as the video mentions that, you know, it's very, very, you know, open-ended, and, you know, how the teachers impart that learning is completely open. So that's actually led to the grades of the students also being significantly higher just because of that flexibility. So you can see there are measurable results, both big and small. For students, you know, of course, homework comes first. For parents, you know, they want to make sure that, you know, everything happens on a weekly basis, and, you know, there are timely notifications, especially, you know, when students and teachers and even parents today, you know, are so hard-pressed with time. You know, they don't have the you know, you don't have the area or the time to actually go and visit the school every now and then and actually participate in everything, even though you would love to. The teachers, of course, you know, the grades are the most important part, but they can be easily entered and worked in the management system. And all your grades and assignments can be uploaded, and the teachers can actually communicate very effectively one-on-one with each of the students. And like Sir was mentioning that kids nowadays, they don't talk to their parents, but they actually talk on WhatsApp. So I think these type of systems can be a way of actually helping interact with students of tomorrow. And of course, I mentioned schools, and this is all like an online management process. Of course, for local governments, it's very, very important that how the schools are functioning. And we want to make sure that the enrollments of the school and seeing that how many students have effectively used this platform and so on and so forth can be very easily used on this platform. This is how some of the screenshots of the platform actually look. So as you can see that there are certain areas. So this is just a hypothetical example, and it shows that what this gentleman or this student has been doing, and it's actually taken from one of the Tallinn students. Tallinn is actually the capital of Estonia, for those who didn't know. And you can see that there are certain weekly tasks that have been outlined for homeworks, for grades statistics. If they want to see how analytically they have been performing over the years. This is also another area. And also, of course, absences, notifications can be passed on through these platforms. For the schools, you can see that let's say that the school's called ABC, so they can actually track, the schools, the teachers, the admin, the headmaster. It's very, very kind of transparent, and everybody can interact very, very freely. Student cards are also available, and you can see that, report cards are the most dreaded things I remember receiving as a school student. So, I would also say that, using these platforms, it really emphasizes not only on the grades, but also emphasizes on what the kids could analytically do better, and what are the areas of improvement that the kids can really have. So that actually sets the usual grading and the report card systems a little different. You can see these are some journals that need to be made, work plans, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, because I think this is quite intensive, but the whole idea is that there are some new features, like integrating to your calendars. You've got meetings, you've got schedules, so you can always integrate them to your calendars. Any student-teacher meets that happen. There are some modules that can be followed, and it's really, really very, very easy to use platform. There are mobile apps available. And I think that's pretty much what I wanted to kind of talk about regarding this. And I can always talk to you all one-on-one about this app and about the learning management system that Estonians have been doing. Now, I mentioned in the beginning of my speech that I will be talking about a key takeaway. And since you saw that Estonia has been doing some great work in this field, the company eCool has actually offered that for the first 1 year, any school who's actually interested in adopting, in actually implementing this kind of a system and making your school like a pilot and a benchmark for other schools to follow, the whole service can be provided to that school on a cloud-based system, absolutely free of cost. So that's something that is for you all to think about. And I think it's a great initiative, and I think the first year just goes into kind of testing the systems and seeing if it's for you. But I really think that we have something that we've been doing effectively for about 2 decades in Estonia, and I think it works well. And with that, having said that, I would thank Els once again, and thank everyone for hearing me and for your patience. Thank you.